Right, so here we want to see how to sew our Ankara outfit. So this Ankara stitching method is one of the simplest things you can see and the best way you can go about it. So here I have already cut my Ankara. So you must have also seen or watched my other videos on how to draft. The drafting remains the same. It's just to show you the sewing processes in this particular video. So here I made the slits at the center of the panel. Now this slit is 6 inches deep or 7 inches deep, and then I folded a flap in this form. Now this flap is just the smaller version of the flap, double folding in this way. Then place this center panel at the middle, and there I cover it all through that way, and then I stitch. Now this stitching we are making here is very necessary, so you stitch all along to the very end of this flap, stitch all along here. So once you have gotten to this stage, you cut your threads and then you will stitch the second flap. I'll also show you how to go about it. So here the second flap, the bigger one, you place at the inside as well, the wrong side. So this was gummed with color gum. From the color from the inside, you stitch all along this line, just this way. And then make sure you get to that slitting point, and then you cut out the threads as well, and then you make sure it's properly arranged in this form, and then you give a notch at that point where your stitching ended. So that notch is to enable the flap to relax properly, and then you fling it to the front this way, and then start from the other end and stitch from here. So this will help the flap to relax properly as well. So that point here is above 6 to 7 inches. Then stitch and then come up, then lock in this way, and then stitch down the other side as well. So while you are doing this as well, you must make sure you arrange the other flap to be underneath this one in order to make sure that everything is properly balanced or arranged. So here you place this way, and then you make sure it's at the middle of the center panel which you have ironed, and then you carefully stitch all down, stitch all through this way. So this is how it will be, stitch all down to these very points, and this is where you have your flap stitching. So make sure you arrange it this way, then you stitch all through to this point, stitch all through here, stitch all through. Then 6 inches is where you're going to stop, or 7 inches depending on the slit opening, but the minimum you can use is 6 inches. So once you get to that 6 inches point, you now end your threading in this front. That's for the front panel. So here we want to fix our breast pocket. So from the shoulder edge, you mark 7 inches from here to where you want to place your pocket point. Now this 7 inches must be from the edge of the neck, just this way. Then you stitch all through, and from the flap edge, 1 inch or 3/4 inch, all through from the flap edge. Depending on the customer's chest size though, the chest size will tell you the measurements you are going to use, like what you're going to cut as the pocket measurement. But the range of pocket sizes can be from 3.5 inches, 4 inches, or 4.5. The bigger the chest, the bigger the pocket size measurements. So likewise in children, you reduce their sizes in accordance to their chest size, which could be 2.5, 2.75, or 3 inches, depends on the size as well. The sleeve parts has been already folded, so just thread, stitch 1/2 inch all through this way. So this sewing you're doing now is necessary in order to give the sleeve a lasting grip. But then on some outfits I make on signature outfits, I can use hemming gum to hold the sleeve. But for Ankara, I will advise that you stitch all through just like this. So here we want to start joining the back panel to the front panel. So what you will do is you place the front piece, the back piece down, then place the front piece at the middle, and place the back facing at the front of the front panel, and then stitch on the shoulder region, and then push it to the back walls, right? So the back panel is under, the front panel is at the middle, and the back facing is in front, just this way. So once you stitch it all through in this one, you cut your threads just like this, and stitch the other end as well, making sure that you arrange the 3 pieces to meet at the shoulder point, just this way, and then you stitch down all along. So stitch all of this all through down, making sure that it's perfectly placed at the shoulder region. So stitch all through this way, stitch all through this way, and this is what you have. So now, after you have done this, now you fold it out this way, and then you go and iron all through this way, and then make sure the whole placement is exact, just this way. You iron, and the back panel must lap at the back center piece. So you must do this as well before you go about to do your what's it called, neck trimming and shoulder trimming. You can now place this underneath the facing, and then you iron. So make sure that putting the hemming gum here is optional though. You can decide not to put, but it helps to hold the piece to be together so that you don't have to struggle to arrange it all through. So once you're done with this now, the next thing we do now is to start ironing your shoulder part, and then you get to do your neckline trimming, shoulder trimming, and every other thing that you need to have. So this is how it is. So once you're done with this now, this is what we have. Then I will also show you how to do the trimming as well.